Mark B, from your perspective, conducting an internal audit first, why is that so important?
It's vitally important. If you think about negotiation 101, if you go back to negotiating anything, before you start negotiating, you need to know what you've got and what you need. So you need to prepare. Preparation is the large part of the hard work here. But if you prepare well, you will negotiate successfully. So if you think about an Oracle situation, you should do your own internal audit of what you've got. What's your licensing estate, what you're actually using versus what you're contracted for. Hopefully it's compliant, by the way. And obviously there's software asset management tools in the space that can help you with all of that so that you can compare actual usage versus license usage. And if there's any non-compliant elements, you can either buy licenses to get compliant, or you might find you got over license, which is very popular in the Oracle world. And popular, but from a very negative reason, because you're paying maintenance on stuff you're not using. And by the way, you can't get rid of it, according to Oracle anyway. So the first thing you got to do to prepare for negotiation of whether it's a renewal or anything else, look at what you got, use asset management tools to understand it so that you're comparing your actual usage, and then talk about your tech roadmap and think about where you're going with all of that stuff. So then you can prepare for negotiation. So you know what you got, you know what you need, then you can go and talk to Oracle about, let's start a negotiation and start talking about doing a deal. The other thing about understanding what you got, another priority for doing that work, and by the way, it's not a one-off thing. These asset management and what you got is not just something you do just before a renewal, and then you can wait a year and come back and do it again. It's something you should be doing on a reasonably regular basis as best you can for all the other work you've got to do. Because Oracle loves to audit, and they've got a massive audit team. They love to roll in and audit, and they love to find non-compliance, and then that starts a negotiation, and you probably end up buying new stuff you don't want again, and away you go. And we've all seen the stuff that's in the courts in Germany and in the US, where pension funds are suing Oracle right now. It's all out in the public domain, this stuff, and they're suing them because they've used audits as a sales tactic, allegedly. Better say that. They've used audits as a sales tactic to sell cloud, even when the client didn't want cloud. But the audit gave them a reason, gave them a negotiation leverage to force cloud into a client. And of course, it buffed up their cloud numbers, and of course, the stock price went up, and of course, then when it came out, this isn't quite true. The pension funds got unhappy because they're investing in Oracle stock. So, back to what you're trying to do is you need to constantly monitor your Oracle estate, Oracle licensing rules, and make sure you stay compliant. It's great preparation for negotiations, perfect presentation in case you get that audit notification letter coming through from Oracle. And from my perspective, if you're not doing that, you are just sitting there waiting to be ravished by Oracle, for want of a better phrase, whether it's at full time, or they sell you more stuff, or they audit you. If you're not keeping an eye on your own house and seeing how things build and what you need and what you're using, what you're not using, you leave yourself wide open to those canny Oracle sales guys who will take more money out of your pocket. Mark?
Absolutely. I think one of the important things is to understand how customers get into these positions, and the reason is it's just life, really. So what happens is, you buy your first Oracle system way back when, and you buy some licenses for, let's say, database, and you've got a third-party application on top, and then you buy some tuning packs and all these other things, and you're licensed appropriately for that system. Then something else comes along, you buy some more licenses for another system and some more for another system. And 10 years, 15 years later on, you've got this massive estate and you're not sure what's what. And so each of those invoices details the products, and they may have related to a system that you bought way back when, and you may not be using that system anymore. Or what you then need to do is really take the whole view of the whole estate. So what you have is a series, and almost all customers have this, is a series of Oracle invoices. Now, you've bought those products, you're entitled to use those products. It doesn't mean that that invoice needs to be applied to system one that you bought it for. So when you then look at it and you go, well, actually, you know what, I've got, Oracle processor licenses for 100 processors, but I've only got 50 processors of database. Well, what you can then do is look through your licenses, decide which license applies to the system, provided it covers the products you're using on that system, because these licenses aren't version compliant, they are product compliant. So basically you need to say, well, I'm using database tuning pack and partitioning on that system. these 3 invoices, they all cover that system. And you can then look at maybe retiring one of those invoices. And again, knowing your estate, conducting that internal audit puts you in a very strong position. I think the other thing when you come to do this audit is to understand that Oracle will never say you're compliant, never. It's in their business model. So what they will do is they'll send their audit team in, they'll audit you, and they'll come up with a report, and they'll say there's the position. And this is how much you owe us because you're under license by X. And it's down to you to defend yourselves and say to the customer, to Oracle, look, no, you've got that bit wrong. This is what we're actually using. And if you've done that internal audit first, you're in such a strong position there. And, you know, at the end of the day, these documents actually are used by Oracle to negotiate with you, and they want to just get more revenue from you. And that's the whole purpose of this. They don't care really whether you're compliant. It's the money at the end of it. So conducting your internal audit, understanding that Oracle may come back with points and they probably won't be correct. I mean, I've seen it multiple times where what the auditors have said wasn't true. Because maybe they didn't have the big picture, maybe they hadn't looked at the whole estate, maybe they hadn't conducted the plans, maybe they made some errors. So, you know, if you're in a really strong position and you on top of everything with that internal audit, then you're in such a strong position when it comes to Oracle. And also look at planning your way out of this agreement. You know, if you've got a number of Oracle agreements and that's what you used to have and you've evolved over time and you don't need that many now, and then you look into the future and you look at what you might be using in a year or 2 years or 3 years time, and you know that some of these systems are going to go, then factor that into your plans and factor that into negotiations. And, you know, maybe think, well, in a year's time, I'm going to retire this other invoice and then I'm going to pay less support. So it's about having complete control of that, and knowledge is key in all that.